talk about this new moon. New moon in Taurus. It feels quiet, right? You notice that? I don't know if you pay attention to the new moons, but I have been all year. Just been fascinating and powerful and very impactful. Planting these seeds and just watching them like bloom and just come in, I'm like, oh, have they always been this way? I wouldn't know because I never dove into them. I was always about the full moon, born on the full moon, want to let go of a lot of stuff. But this year astrologically is different than a lot of years. So maybe that's playing a part. I don't know. But this one feels quiet. Feels really quiet on the surface. Comfortable, simple. But underneath it, underneath all that simplicity, something's really moving. Which, if you know anything about Taurus, that's really Taurus, isn't it? Just builds steadily, solidly, just like the bull. If you just sit with that image for a minute, the bull isn't chaotic. It's not really reactive. Even when the bull's charging, it's deliberate. It's like this wall of force that moves in one direction with total commitment. That's the energy that's available to us right now. Slow, steady, and when it moves with everything it's got. So, what is this new moon asking us to build? I think, honestly, it's asking us to rebuild our relationship with our own expression. Not with what we say to other people, that's a different conversation. That is expression of self. But the way you move through the world, what you create, the particular frequency that you carry, that's not something you decide to share or not share. It's just what happens when you stop suppressing it. Did you know that? And it's not like it's directed at anyone. It's just you being more fully you. The other thing when I was diving into this new moon is that this has got some mythology like woven into it, which I thought was really cool. Kind of stopped me in my tracks when I heard it because this new moon is also aligned with the star called Algol. Algol? I don't remember how you say it, but it's the eye of Medusa. Do you know the Medusa story? She was a priestess, a woman who sought refuge in Athena's temple, took her vows, lived in devotion, and she was violated on the steps of that same temple by Poseidon. And when Athena found out, instead of protecting her, she turned Medusa's hair into snakes and gave her a gaze that could turn people to stone. So this is where it can get interesting and where this new moon and just things in general can really serve you, because there's two things to look at what Athena did to Medusa. So the shadow frequency looks at this and says she was punished. She was betrayed first by a man and then by a woman, and now she has to live this half life alone, feared, monstrous. Something was done to her, and now she's a victim of it. That's mediocrity. Not mediocrity in the sense of being ordinary, mediocrity in the sense of this happened to me and now I have to hide. I just can't share this. But there's another way to look at this, and that's what this new moon energy brings in for us too. It's like the higher consciousness, which is a higher level of thinking, looks at the exact same story and asks, what if Athena was protecting him? What if making her fearsome was the only way to ensure she could never be violated again? What if those snakes, that gaze, what if that was her armor? What if it was actually a gift? Same story, two completely different experiences of it. That's the invitation of this new moon. Because the question being asked right now is, where is your spirit when you look at your own story? Are you in the shadow of it? This was done to me. I've been diminished. I've been silenced. Or are you in the gift of it? I was shaped by this. I was protected by this, and I have something of it that nobody else has. That's the difference between mediocrity and style. And that's Gene Key 8, which is what this moon's in. New moon's in Gene Key 8. That moves from the shadow of mediocrity to the gift of style. And Richard Rudd's really clear when he talks about this, is like the deepest root of mediocrity isn't the fear of failing. It's the fear of succeeding. Seems wild to think about it, right? But if you think about it, to succeed, to actually live of yourself, live as yourself, you have to be willing to stop living by the expectations of systems that were never built for your authentic expression. Mhm. You got to be willing to be seen as different. That is genuinely uncomfortable for you and for everyone around you. Yeah, I know. But the other thing that needs to be noted too is like being fully yourself is not selfish. It is actually your greatest contribution to your relationships, to your community, to anyone whose lives you touch. The most generous thing you can do is stop performing, you know, and just be what you actually are. Style isn't about how you look. Style's the natural flowering of your individuality. It can't be faked. It can't be preconceived. It just emerges when you stop folding yourself down to fit in. And this is disruptive. It's disruptive. I'm sorry. It is because real individual expression is disruptive because it mirrors back to people everything they've given up about themselves to fit in. People get uncomfortable. They might get reactive. That's not about you. But here's what Medusa also knew. And this is the cost nobody talks about. She became very lonely. There's a cost to keeping your expression locked down. We think that by making ourselves smaller, quieter, more palatable, we'll be accepted. That's what we're told will happen. Makes sense. We would think that's what's going to happen. But what actually happens is that people are accepting a version of you that isn't really there. And somewhere inside, you know that, and that knowing has a weight to it. Now, this new moon is also sitting with Mars and Chiron together. They're like together right now. The wounded healer. You watched my previous video, you already know about Mars and Chiron dancing together, but that combination is pointing directly at the places where you've been holding yourself back, where the memory of being rejected, being misunderstood, being dismissed for something true and vulnerable that you offered, where that memory became a fence around your expression. You didn't consciously build that fence, but because at some point it felt like it was the only safe thing to do. That's why you did it. Right? And since this is all about individuality, there's something else that, I think is really important to remember when we're talking about individuality. So real individuality can be lonely, but that's not a sign that something is wrong with you. It's almost the signature of this particular path. The people who won't just go along, who can't quite make themselves fit the mold, who feel that gap between who they are and who they've been performing, they know this loneliness. You know this loneliness. I know this loneliness. This new moon is saying that loneliness is not your wound, it's your compass. What? It's not, that loneliness isn't your wound, it's your compass. The invitation isn't to pretend none of that happened. It's not to go out and announce yourself to the world or say everything to everyone. My kids used to say, you don't have to tell everybody everything, you know. The bull doesn't charge everything in sight. It moves towards something specific with intention. This is about what you stop saying to yourself. Your expression of self, the way you move, what you create, how you show up, that's not something that's left, what's left when you stop folding yourself down to fit. No, and sometimes the most powerful shift isn't the thing that you like finally say out loud. Because I don't want to be misunderstood in this. Like I can hear some people receiving this as Arlene said the new moon is I should just think. That's self-expression. But being yourself is not necessarily the expression of what's alive inside of you, which that has a place too. Because, you know, the most powerful shift isn't the thing that you finally say out loud. Sometimes it's just stopping the internal lie. You don't have to announce your truth to the whole room. You just have to stop pretending it isn't in there. Include yourself in your own integrity. Have the most loving and kind relationship with yourself. I don't mean the kind where you let yourself off the hook for everything. I mean the real kind, the kind where you actually want to feel better. So you do the things that make that true. Loving yourself is the improvement. When you genuinely love yourself, you grow. Not because you're forcing it, but because it feels good to become more of who you are. That's what this new moon is asking for. Hmm. The seed you're planting right now, it isn't a goal. It's not a resolution. It's a commitment. A commitment to stop being the one person in your life you're allowed to lie to. Not, I'm going to speak my truth more, but I'm going to stop lying to myself about who I am. Even if I'm the only one in the room who can love that right now. Because if you've been pretending to be somebody else, you could possibly be in the wrong rooms, right? Like, be you. Like a commitment to be you. That's the seed. So just plant it slowly, tend it with the patience of the bull. Charge the bow, charge the bow. And watch what becomes possible when you stop betraying yourself in your own presence. And we've got some other energy that's impacting us right now, and I'm going to do another video in a day or two about that one. The nodes have shifted. The lunar nodes have shifted out of the 3740, which was all about tribal, like we were figuring out what our connections were like. Now we're in this individual of energy of like, who are we? How do we want to express? Can we at least commit to ourselves that we get to exist too? Yeah. I think it's like an 8 billion piece puzzle for real. And there's like, if everybody wants to be the same piece of the puzzle, which society teaches us to all be the same piece of the puzzle, then we never get to see the whole picture. We only get to see that part of the picture. So it's like everybody be your own piece. And then you think, oh, I'm like locked into this little place. It's not like that. It's not like a lock in this little place. it's where you want to be, literally. It's like, so society tells us, oh, we should all be sky pieces, and you're over there wanting to be a tree or a flower or a window. Who knows what's in the image because we've never gotten to see it. Not recently, not in any recorded history, which could be the wrong places to look for it, but whole nother rabbit hole we don't need to go down. The point is, be you. We've just spent since December learning all about like what a good connection feels like. How do I, and some of your people may have fallen away. Like you may have noticed yourself was like, oh, I just can't deal with this anymore. You must go. And your mind's like, what are you doing? And you couldn't make a different decision. So we're in a different energy with that. Now we've moved out of that. We've done some stuff with our tribes and friends, our families, our workplaces, all that. And we have a different perspective, whether it's better or worse. It's different. Now we're going into what it means to truly be intimate and looking at our own places that we not victimize ourselves, but where we're not free. And when we're not free, we see that as us being a victim. So we're going to have that for a few months. Not as long as the last one, but so it'll be really helpful. Do a video on that in a couple of days as well. So I hope this new moon video helps you. I've done so much with the new moon since the beginning of the year, and it is wild to see every single one of those seeds grow. So I'm looking forward to planting the seed of a deeper commitment to me just being fully myself. It's totally my mission on this planet anyway. So I'm like, let's do it. That does not mean I get to run all over everybody. I hope that you guys notice that little distinction between the two, between just like bleh and I'm here too. All right. Thanks for watching.